You know, sometimes a whole criminal enterprise gets turned completely on its head. For decades, illegal gold flowed out of Brazil's Amazon in one direction, but now the entire route has inverted. Today, we're going to break down how a massive government crackdown forced smugglers to find a brand new path to the international market.
And right up front, we've got to say this whole explainer is built on some incredible deep dive reporting by journalist Leandro Prazeres for BBC News Brazil. So all credit goes to him and his team for this fantastic work.
So our story really kicks off with a bit of a mystery. It's December 2nd, and federal police agents up in Roraima are tracking this small plane. Everything seems normal, they've got its flight plan, but then it does something totally out of the blue.
Instead of heading to the remote, rural airstrip it was supposed to land at, the pilot suddenly veers off course. And where does he land? At the main international airport in Boa Vista. Yet you can bet that set off all kinds of red flags for the agents watching. You have to ask, why the sudden switch?
Well, when the authorities got on that plane, they found out exactly why. Stashed away were 51 kilograms of solid gold bars, and there was absolutely zero paperwork, nothing to prove where it came from. This wasn't just a dodgy flight plan, this was a major criminal operation in progress.
So what's that kind of haul worth? Try a staggering 36 million reais. That's well over $6 million US. We are not talking about a small-time operation here. This was big, big business, and honestly, it was just the tip of the iceberg.
Because that one bust? It was a clue pointing to something so much bigger, a huge shift in the entire world of illegal gold smuggling. The criminals hadn't just changed a flight plan, they had changed their entire playbook.
And we're not just guessing here. Federal Police Delegate Kyle Lucchini basically laid it all out for the BBC, saying, "We identified a change in the route of the gold." In other words, the whole illegal flow had completely reversed direction.
See, the old way of doing things was pretty straightforward. You'd illegally mine gold in Roraima, ship it to other states like São Paulo to get it laundered with fake documents, and then export it. The new route? It's the complete opposite. Gold from all over Brazil is now being funneled to Roraima, which has become the new exit ramp for smuggling into Venezuela and Guyana.
And if you're looking for proof, well, the numbers don't lie. This great chart put together by Caroline Souza and Lais Allegretti at the BBC shows that gold seizures by the Federal Highway Police in Roraima just skyrocketed. We're talking a 368% increase in just 1 year. That's not a trend. That's an explosion.
Okay, so this begs the obvious question, right? Why would these massive criminal networks totally scrap a system that had been working for them for decades? Well, the answer is a huge coordinated government crackdown.
It turns out 3 major government actions just completely shattered their old system. First, you had intensified raids in Yanomami territory that made mining way riskier. Second, they brought in mandatory electronic invoices, which made faking the paperwork a whole lot harder. And third, and this one is the real kicker, they changed the law so buyers couldn't just pretend they didn't know the gold was illegal.
This whole idea of good faith was the secret sauce for the criminals. Before, a buyer could just take a piece of paper from a miner saying the gold was legit and they were legally off the hook, even if everyone knew it came from an illegal mine. But in 2023, the Supreme Court slammed that loophole shut, making the buyers directly responsible.
And the effect of all this? It was immediate, and it was huge. Right after these changes, Brazil's official gold exports tanked by 31%. The gold was still being dug up, you see, but it couldn't be easily laundered and sold legally anymore. It needed a new way out.
So, what happens when you corner a group like this? Well, they don't just give up, they adapt. With their old system in pieces, they came up with a whole new plan. One that was all about smuggling the raw, undocumented gold straight out of the country.
So, why Roraima? Why did this one state become the new gateway? Well, for one, it was perfectly set up. It already had the illegal infrastructure. The hidden airstrips, the skilled pilots. Then you've got these long, porous borders with Venezuela and Guyana that are super hard to police. And on top of all that, in a place like Guyana where gold mining is legal, it's incredibly easy to mix the illegal Brazilian gold into the legitimate supply. Poof, it just disappears.
I mean, the scale of this new route is it's mind-blowing. Let me give you an example. In one single traffic stop, police pull over a pickup truck. Inside is a guy with his wife and their 9-month-old baby. Hidden in that truck, 103 kilograms of gold, worth over 61 million reais, all of it making a run for the Guyana border.
What this whole situation really shows us is that even when law enforcement has a big win, this battle is nowhere near over. Because the hunger for illegal gold isn't just a local issue, it's being driven by the global economy.
It really comes down to simple economics, as Larissa Rodriguez from the research group Instituto Escolias points out. She says whenever the price of gold goes up, the motivation to go out and dig it up, whether you're doing it legally or illegally, goes up right along with it.
And right now, that incentive is through the roof. The price of gold has been smashing records, blowing past $2,000 an ounce. With all the uncertainty in the world, investors are just pouring money into gold as a safe bet.
And that's really the bottom line here. That record-breaking price completely changes the math for these criminals. Suddenly, all the high risks of smuggling seem a whole lot more attractive when the potential reward is bigger than it has ever been.
So it leaves us with this massive, looming question, doesn't it? The authorities managed to shut down one system, but the criminals just pivoted and built a new one. As gold gets more and more valuable, making the incentive for crime stronger every day, the real challenge is this. How do you possibly stay one step ahead in a game that never, ever stops changing?